From the On Target Digital Marketing Podcasting Studios in sunny Orlando, Florida, it's the T Squared Tech Talk Podcast with Tom Jelnick and Tom Craig. It's a freaking Friday afternoon. What are you doing, Tom?
You know, it's time for another Mountain Dew.
Another one?
That's right.
Good Lord.
Yep. Well,
I think you might have a Mountain Dew problem, my friend.
The first step is admitting the problem, and I admitted that problem years ago, Tom.
You did. I think all of Tom's friends, there might be an intervention in the work. So stay tuned.
I hope so.
I'll email you guys. We'll take care of this problem.
If you need an address, let me know. I'm down.
How are you, man? I heard you've been a little busy lately, Tom.
Been busy. Was at the Enterprise Connect convention in the Gaylord Palms recently, as you know. But in fact,
I like saying the Gaylord.
Yeah, I brought you something here that I thought would be awful helpful for you and the staff at On Target.
What is it?
Digital marketing. It's the solutions guide from Microsoft for Microsoft Teams.
Oh man, you are just a giver.
I saw that and I thought, you know who would enjoy this book better than anyone I know would be Tom Jelnick.
The garbage can. You know what's. Oh, thank you for the gift. And I have a Microsoft pen that you gave me as well. So I will be sticking this pen along with this book in places I can't mention on the air, Tom.
Like the trash can.
Well, no, you know what's interesting about this leaflet, if you will, Tom? It says Microsoft Solutions Guide. It's almost like one of those oxymorons, right?
No.
There really isn't a solution, which is why the book is really only like 4 pages long.
Well, you know what's at the end of the book there?
An antivirus pitch?
End of life.
What?
End of life.
Say it again?
Yep, that's...
Microsoft's end of life?
10 years.
That's exciting. The whole thing's gone?
That's what you get. You get 10 years of support, and after that, it's
dead.
End of life.
Dead Zoes.
That's right. Yep.
Dead City.
So that's the latest thing from Microsoft.
So say that again. So it's Microsoft.
Each version of their operating system is supported for 10 years. And that includes security updates, all kinds of other technical updates and enhancements, if you will, for free.
Now, is this support like a jockstrap kind of support, Tom?
It's better than a jockstrap, Tom. Yeah. It's a body strap.
Like an athletic supporter type of thing.
It supports your entire organization. You're absolutely right. And so after 10 years of being so generous to give us free updates, they determined that, you know what, it's time for us to move on to the next iteration of operating system, and they have an end of life for that old operating system.
So this is a Microsoft...
Same as Apple, end of life. Whereas Apple operating systems are no longer supported. You remember how their devices, you can't even upgrade them past a certain point. It says,
sorry, this device is not supported.
Well, that's because they nailed it. Yeah. Right? I mean, there's no need to keep going further with support, Tom. If it's a superior device,
is that what it is?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's just going to work perfectly from here on out.
It runs like a top, Tom.
So for all of you iPhone users out there struggling with your older iPhone speeds, I'd like you to remember Tom's words of wisdom here.
And Tom's, with Advanced System Solutions, Microsoft Solutions Guide, which is a very thin little booklet here. Because let's be honest, Tom, there just really isn't a freaking solution.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. That booklet is just a bunch of salesy stuff from third-party vendors. But the Microsoft logo, anything I can get with the Microsoft logo on it, it's coming your way. I can guarantee you that.
That's very thoughtful. What's funny, at the end of this book, there is a section for notes to which you have taken absolutely none.
Well, I use my Microsoft pen. Can't you see?
Is it invisible ink?
It's kind of like that.
Or is it just there's nothing inspirational whatsoever to frickin' write about Microsoft?
You know what the answer is, Tom?
Yes.
I know it all. There's no need for me to take notes. When it comes to Microsoft, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think of Tom Craig, because that's, Microsoft's my middle name.
Tom, I don't want you to do that to yourself. It actually pained me when you said that, because when I think of Microsoft, I don't think of, it's not synonymous with you, my friend. You're quality, you're a good human being, you're upstanding, you're not full of viruses, I hope.
Yeah, well, my mother had a vision back in the 60s, and she said, you know what, I'm going to name my child with the middle name of Microsoft. I don't know what that means.
Tom Microsoft Craig.
See, that's me. That's on the birth certificate.
Seriously?
Yeah, sure. If I had a license, I'd show it to you.
I think your mom maybe, God love her. I mean, maybe she wants to reevaluate a couple things in life, Tom.
It could be.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's because I've crashed so often as I was growing up.
There you go.
I gave that
like
one
the way
to
you
you.
think.
Yeah.
So we're talking, folks, today about Microsoft end of life. I love the way that sounds.
See, I give these to you.
It's a joyous
The
day.
gift that keeps giving.
Tom, I got to share a story.
Please.
So my little one is 10 years old.
Okay.
She's adorable and sweet.
All right.
She's been in this very podcast studio, Tom.
Yes,
We've
I
done
saw.
daddy-daughter podcasts.
Doing a little podcast.
So she gets great grades. She's a great kid. She doesn't get in that much trouble. She
Okay.
hates Microsoft. Chip off the old block, right?
What?
Yeah, she's got multiple.
You're right.
Yeah, no, she's
Thought
got
nothing
great
but
machines.
high remarks for her, and now you just.
She's a sweet kid. She's a smart kid.
Wow.
So she chooses superior products. So she came to mom and dad and she said, Mom and Dad, I really want a parakeet. And I said no, because I don't like birds, and they stink and they smell, and they repeat what the in-laws say. You can get
Yeah.
into some deep shit, Tom.
Yeah, or they repeat to the in-laws what you were talking about. The
damn
in-laws.
right.
Yeah, see,
Yes, so-
that's what happened with my minor bird.
So no to the parakeets.
Okay.
So she counters with a hamster.
Okay.
Now, Tom, I'm not a huge fan of rodents.
All right.
I've got a Siberian Husky. She's an amazing puppy and dog. She's one of my best friends on the
Yep.
planet. I am not a huge fan of the little rodents that are like 8 ounces and crap all over the place, Tom, and they got
When you're in
bedding.
the
and
hand, they get scared. They pee in the
pee
hand.
on you.
Yeah,
They
just not a big fan of that
No,
either.
I mean they're honestly bait for the vultures in the backyard. Right?
However, some of those cages are pretty slick.
They are slick, Tom, and they're made out of plastic, and they've got tubes and canals and channels and places where the hamster can feel safe, and it's involved, Tom. So
Snowflake hamsters need a safe place, Tom.
they're very delicate, Tom.
Yes.
So we drive down to the old PetSmart.
Okay.
She picks out the cage, of course, the most expensive
Oh,
one. naturally.
absolutely.
So this $45 piece of plastic,
Yep.
probably made in Kyrgyzstan, Tom.
By Apple.
Nope. Rewind that, Mason. Not by Apple.
Okay,
Not
okay.
by
But
Apple.
but she picks out the nicest cage.
She does. And then we pick out the hamster.
All
This
right.
little dude, she's a Russian whatever hamster. So
Okay.
we're not going to call her Vladimir. Not going to call her Putin.
Vladimet.
She is aptly named as Moose.
Oh, all right.
Cute little critter, Tom.
Yep.
Like I said, I want nothing to do with touching it.
Okay.
I don't. She lasted 14 days, Tom. Actually, let me take that back. The warranty on Moose was 14 days. Moose died on 16 days. My wife and I are at a restaurant, and my oldest is texting us feverishly, something's wrong with Moose. And by the time we got home, which was 20 minutes, that damn thing was dead-zo, Tom.
Oh man, end of life.
Done. End of life.
Wow.
So we buried it, as one does, in the
yeah?
backyard. There's a funeral. There's
Tears galore.
yeah, I have an operating system. We put Moose in the operating system box, which happened to be Microsoft.
I believe it.
Dug a hole.
Yep.
Did the whole thing. So 2 weeks goes by. It's time to maybe consider another one, right?
Well, you got the cage. You paid $1
well,
million
sure.
bucks for it.
The damn rodent's only $15, but all the
right.
accessories are $150.
I hear you.
So I took her this was Saturday. Like this was
Okay.
this last Saturday
All right.
to Petco, just Daddy and her.
Yep.
And we're wading through our options, and I went to a different store on
Okay.
purpose because I don't want another damn thing dying.
Yep.
So we find another one. It's
Okay.
cute, cuddly.
Hopefully not from Russia this time.
You're damn right. We don't do Russia now.
Yep.
So,
Okay, good.
So we take it home. It's a male. Tom, it died yesterday.
Was it within the warranty period this time?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But what are
Okay.
you going to bring back a corpse? And anyway, we can't figure out for the life of us why this thing's dying. Well,
Okay.
we know why Microsoft's dying, right?
Yeah, and it's 10 years, but 10 years isn't what you're getting out of the
No,
hamsters.
I'm getting 4 days out of these
Oh
damn
my
hamsters.
gosh,
So
and your poor daughter. I'm sure
I know she's in tears, and she is the sweetest kid, so she loves these animals. But these damn things are dying.
I got a solution.
What do you got?
I've got it figured out.
What, a firewall?
It's
What
time
do you
to
think,
pick
Tom?
out a solid colored hamster. Okay? We're going to go with the solid brown, the solid black, or
Yeah.
the solid white.
Sure.
Okay? So there's no identifiable marks on said hamster.
I see where you're going with this, Tom.
Hamster goes
I like this.
down the toilet. Oh, where'd he go? He must be running around the house.
Went
Let's
on-
go look for him. You start on that side of the house. I'll start on this side of the house. You make your way to PetSmart. By the time you all meet in the middle,
I
guess
love it.
what?
I love where
New
your head's at.
hamster. Yep. Yep.
15 seconds. You put that white one, you slip it right back in.
I found them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great personality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. It still bites, just like the other one.
Exactly. See,
Little
this
asshole.
is perfect. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a goldfish. You know,
Yeah.
same principle.
Yeah.
You know,
They're gold, they're fish. You
Yep,
stick them in.
Exactly. Just so no identifiable marks.
Very
That's
smart,
the-
my friend.
Yep.
Now, if only we could replace Microsoft operating systems with something favorable,
Oh, they certainly have,
Like
Tom. I'm glad you could ask.
like a Mac.
Yeah, like Windows 10 or Office, not even Office, Microsoft.
A dirty word, Tom.
365. Not Office 365, but Microsoft 365.
Huh.
Yep. Do we know? Here's something that they've come out with because they realize that people not only want to be able to control the infrastructure and make sure that they're getting the updates and that they're secure, but they want to be able to control the data as well. And I've got a quick story for you. In fact, this will kind of chime in.
Is this a Microsoft story, Tom?
It is. It
So
is.
gloom and doom and despair and death.
It's not, because there's a happy ending at the end of everything. And what happens here is I was recently with a potential client who was talking about they had been infiltrated.
Infiltrate. I like that word.
Yeah, but this time it wasn't the nefarious characters in Uzbekistan.
Damn them.
It was the executive admin and the office staff.
Huh, you got to watch out for those executive admins,
I
Tom.
tell you, it's you know, if you're not, well, I won't go down that road, but yes, you do need to watch out for them. And here's why. These people, and I use that term loosely, took data from this company and used it to form their own company.
That's
Okay?
evil, Tom.
It is. It is. Now, it's one thing if you're creating things for a company and you've come up with some ideas and you don't have a agreement in place with that company for your knowledge, you know, that you use. Like for myself, as I've grown through technology, I've worked for different companies, but I learn along the way. It doesn't mean I can forget what I learned at different technology.
Like the in-laws forget. Am I right?
God. And then they blame you
I
because
know.
it's your fault.
I know. How
Yeah.
dare you forget those
Absolutely.
82 pack of cupcakes on the way home, Tom?
Exactly. But different than that, you know, if you're learning along the way, that's knowledge that you can take with you. It makes you a better person. But if you're taking client data, customer information, and then using that to go after the customers, that's just darn right nefarious.
Sounds like something Microsoft would do,
Or
Tom.
the Uzbekistan people.
Sure.
Yep. But they did that, and now here's how that could have been prevented. With Windows 10, you can now get a subscription to Microsoft 365, which is different from Microsoft Office 365. Microsoft Office 365 is the traditional Office suite that we're familiar with of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access.
And that paperclip, Clippy. Remember him? That little
Oh,
bastard?
And Rocco the dog.
Sure. So cute.
I love them all. See, I keep Windows 95 around just so I can still have Rocco.
Maybe we should stick a hamster in there, Tom. Like
Yeah.
animate a hamster.
Be better than that damn cat. Yeah, that
frickin'
cat,
cat.
was and the noises it made.
Yeah,
Anyway,
whatever.
But so all of those came with Microsoft Office, and
Garbage.
that's the tool that we use to create documents. But now we have Microsoft 365.
Sounds fancy, Tom.
It is, and let me tell you why. Because now you can control how data is used throughout your organization. It ties in the Windows 10 environment with your console, so you can lock down people saving files to a flash drive, people saving files to the local drive or emailing them. You can really control how people are accessing the data and how they're saving it. So if you have critical client data that somebody needs to access on a daily basis, you can provide them that read access or the change access even, but you can stop them from saving it anywhere other than your OneDrive account or wherever you designate. But it really it locks that data down, and as people in the IT field can attest, this has been a very expensive undertaking with multiple solutions in the past. You have to lock down the USB ports, you have to lock down the operating system, you have to lock down your server. But now with Microsoft 365 and a mere $20 a month prescription per head,
Oh, God.
you get the Microsoft Office 365 suite of products and the additional security. So that's just something to think about.
Can it lock down the in-laws, Tom?
Nothing can lock down.
I know
the
nothing
in-laws,
can hold
Tom.
them back.
Nothing at all. I've tried everything.
Always at the
including
dinner table.
The double dose of NyQuil you suggested
Double
and
dose.
the strawberry rhubarb pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, did not work.
They always show up at the dinner table.
Nice,
They're like sitting there
loud
waiting.
nap, and
Tom?
yeah, right when I thought that the house was mine. No,
It's
Tom.
not. Yeah.
Where's the rest of that pie?
Yeah, see every single time. But no, unlike the in-laws, Windows does have an end of life. And that is
thanks,
coming up
sweet
soon.
Jesus, there is an end of life for Windows.
That's right. That's so Windows 7, Windows Server 2008, which is included in the Small Business Server 2011 for those of you out there with
Sounds
that.
so fancy with their names. Like they have a whole crackpot team of marketers sitting around thinking up the
Well,
next
it's nothing
name.
like Sahara and Mojave
Yeah,
and
all sound
Cupcake
exotic
and
and
I
delicious.
don't even know and I don't
and
even
amazing.
know. I can't keep up with all this.
It
funky
just
names.
keeps you
Yeah?
reaching for
I
creativity,
don't know.
Tom.
Well, at least Apple's creative in some way these days. So as long as they're coming up with
Ouch.
names, that's something. But no, so what's going to happen is this coming January 14th, there will be no more security updates pushed out for these products that are end of life. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay?
Which is,
If you-
your shit's going to explode because
right.
as soon as they take their support away, it's
That
garbage
light
anyway.
is the fuse. That's right. But no, there's three options you have if you've got Windows 7 or if you've got Windows Server 2008. Let's just say you're not ready to move. Let's just say you haven't read the Advanced System Solutions blog to see us talking
Where
about
can, where
this
can they find that,
for a
Tom?
year. Well, advancedsystemsolutions.com. That's where our blog site is.
Nice plug. I can get behind
That's
that.
right. And you'll find the tombstone there that has the Windows Server 2008 ready to be buried.
Let's
but here's
bury
the deal.
that sumbitch.
But here's the deal. Microsoft is being generous enough to where if you have applications on that server you're not ready to retire yet, they will be so generous as to sell you extended support for 3 years.
That's special, Tom.
See, that's how nice they are.
If you're worried about getting rid of MS Paint,
That's right. Well, yeah, that and Exchange Server 2010.
oh, that's a fine product too. Said no one ever, Tom.
That's right. I'll even agree to that.
Sure,
But,
Outlook, complete garbage.
Oh, that's the best. It even ties into Apple products. They did that last week, but that's a
But
whole
why
other
would you want to
podcast.
muddy that? Like, keep your Microsoft out of my Apple, Tom.
I was installing Office on Mac products last week.
Why?
Yeah, that's because they're smart. They know when it comes to solutions guides, Microsoft has it in place.
And folks, this solutions guide I was thumbing through as Tom was rambling on about how wonderful Microsoft crap is. There are no solutions in this whole book that says solutions. It's literally,
You know where the solution is, Tom?
yeah, I do know.
Advanced System Solutions.
Very-
That's where all the solutions from Microsoft are these days.
Very clever, sir.
That's right. But no, so that's one option you have is to buy extended support. If you want to move to Microsoft Azure, which
God
is
forbid.
their cloud-based server, they will provide you additional support for 3 years free of charge.
Free.
Yep. However, Azure is pretty darned expensive. So
It sounds fancy. Say that
yep,
again.
Yep. Azure.
Ooh,
See?
is it French?
They're learning from Apple on how to come up with
No,
more,
they're not. They're not learning
better
a damn
named
thing, Tom. No,
products.
they
Okay.
are not learning from Apple.
Well, the third option, and what I think is the best option, is to assess what you have, come up with a plan on what it's going to take your current solutions onto a new server or the cloud, and start that path now. You've got 7 or 8 months of work that
Of
you
hell.
can
Yeah. Left.
Well, it's if you've waited this long, yeah, you're right. It's hell.
Yeah.
But no, it's time to really start planning and assessing and planning that migration path, and that's what's important. So there's your 3 options for the Windows end of life.
Those are great options, Tom, and I especially love it every time you say Microsoft end of life. But I know Advanced System Solutions, this is something you help businesses plan, because I heard yesterday from someone who actually received one of these end of life statements.
Yep.
How frustrated they were that their IT provider was not really staying on top of what's changing in the marketplace. And one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of companies still believe that their PC, God forbid, is the hub of every single thing they do. Like, they're not thinking outside the box in terms of what other technology is out there. And, you can run an entire business today from your freaking smartphone, Tom.
Exactly. And that's why it's important that if you have an IT team that's bogged down in the day-to-day trenches of how to keep your operation going and they don't have time to learn these new technologies, it might be time to call in some help from someone like Advanced System Solutions. It doesn't have to be us, but ask for help. Ask for a different point of view. That's really important, because what you'll get is you'll get a virtual CIO, if you will. That's one of the services that we provide, is that if you are a monthly subscriber to our services at Advanced System Solutions, what we do is we provide an engineer that's not just there to fix the problems, but it's there to look at how it is that you're doing things, why that you do them, why it is that you do them, and then what's the best way to make that happen. And so that way you're taking technology and applying it to what you're trying to accomplish, as opposed to just taking technology and trying to make it useful to your needs, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a ton of sense. I think a lot of small business owners that you help don't really even understand a lot of what they're being sold by other IT companies.
Exactly.
And you know, the argument is, well, why is everything different now? Why did this price go up? Why is there Microsoft end of life? I could say that a million times.
Yep.
But I think one of the real cores is to find a partner, a technology partner that's actually changing with the times, staying ahead of the curve.
Amen.
And not out to milk you. Like, you don't have to be paying a fortune for this stuff.
No.
I helped a company last night shave off $120 a month, and taking all kinds of heartache and hassle. Well, let's be honest, Tom, I took them out of freaking Microsoft. So moving them over to Google Enterprise allows them to run a business with multiple people across multiple. You could run it in Kurzblackistan if you want, Tom. But you know, it's just honestly looking at what your objectives, goals, where your company needs to be. There's solutions for everything out there today that are not. You know, you don't have to be a slave to a company.
That's right. And you know, all joking aside, you're absolutely right that for that solution, you know, Google was the best choice for them because what they were trying to accomplish. And that's just it. They asked you to come in and give an outside view as to what it is that they're doing, how they can operate better. And yes, you're absolutely right. There are solutions out there that are inexpensive. I mean, unbelievably inexpensive. So much so that I was called in by a president of a company to ask me, what's the gotcha here?
Right. Because it seems too cheap.
It is, but it's not. That's the fantastic thing about cloud-based solutions. We're taking, if you will, a server that used to be for the company, and we'd have to buy that server. We'd have to pay for the power. We'd have to pay for the cooling. We'd have to pay for the upkeep before end of life. But now we're taking that same server, if you will, and we're dividing it by 100 or 1,000. And therefore, the costs are just astronomically cheaper.
Right.
To where you almost think, this is too cheap. There's something here that they're not doing right, or they're going to get me on the back end and charge me with something else, or after a year, the price is going to go up. That is not the case with cloud-based solutions.
And think of it like this. Remember back in the day, and we're really dating ourselves here, but Tom and I remember a day where hard drive space used to cost a fortune, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
I think you'd get like, 20 megs on a basic hard drive, and then now there's a drive sitting right here on this podcasting studio desk that's 4 terabytes. That cost me probably $120.
Yeah. And how well I remember paying $500 for a 500 gig hard drive.
Right.
And now you can get 10 terabytes for under 200.
Right.
Just absolutely insane.
So everything in this world has dramatically changed. So if you've been locked in with a provider for years, it's probably a really good time to kind of pull your head up and take a look at how technology has changed. Like this particular organization yesterday, Tom, they got a fax machine, and they're obsessed about, what are we going to do without the fax machine? Well, you won't do anything other than save money because you're not getting Larry's hot asphalt slung over to you on top of the fax machine as spam every day.
Huh. Yeah. Well, that's just it. If you're paying the same prices now that you were paying for a service 3 years ago, you should definitely reassess. Heck, even Spectrum has come down in their pricing and will discount for.
Yeah, they'll bundle something up for you, Tom.
Yeah, bundle.
Don't get me started on that. Bundle this.
Amen.
I got your bundle right here.
I shouldn't have mentioned the Spectrum.
Pisses me
name.
off, Tom.
Yeah. So,
in fact, I went to price out Spectrum yesterday for this particular organization. and they would not give me a straight answer because they wanted me to buy the stupid phone and the stupid ass television, and they would not show me the price of the internet without those two products. Actually, they put a teaser rate that said $45. You know what the fine print said?
What's that?
With
Home.
bundle.
Oh,
I don't need your
nice.
freaking bundle. I've got your bundle right here.
Gracious.
Bundle this.
Well, speaking of bundles, it's that time, Tom.
It is, Tom, and reaching in deep into this mail sack, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. I got to move this around, move that around. We got a crappy Microsoft Solutions guide got in the sack. Guess who writes in today?
Who we hearing from today, Tom?
We've got Carl from Castleberry, Tom.
Carl, I liked Carl's question.
It's a fine question, Tom.
Yep, and it certainly makes sense. It's very relevant as to what we're talking about here today. Carl was approached by his IT support provider to go with a VDI infrastructure.
VDI.
Yep.
I heard you can catch a VDI in Castleberry.
Well, you sure can.
There's a lot of strip clubs in
That's
Castleberry.
right. But this is a different kind of VDI. This is a virtual desktop infrastructure.
Ooh.
And what they're offering is his IT provider has sent out a mass mailing to their clients offering a VDI server or VDI desktop as part of this transition for end of life.
Hopefully it doesn't burn when you pee after that VDI, Tom.
Gosh, let's hope not.
Yeah, we don't need that.
No, sir. But what I think is the problem with this approach is just what you mentioned. They are
venereal diseases.
They're sending that. That is the problem with this approach. No, in all seriousness, the problem is that they're pushing a solution out, and they're hoping that you will conform your organization to what they're selling.
Right.
Whereas if this company was really concerned about Carl's interests, they would go learn a little bit more about what Carl and his team are trying to accomplish there in Castleberry, and then look at what technologies are out there. It might not be the VDI solution that they're proposing. Perhaps it's a Google product, if you will, G Suite. Maybe it's Microsoft Office 365.
God forbid.
Yeah, one of a million solutions out there that could, as I was talking about Enterprise Connect, there are now hundreds of organizations who have built apps just so those companies and those teams can communicate better. So touch points, emails, phone calls, chats, all of that are now all tied together in one app so we can see and learn how the team is working together. So that's fantastic. And again, as we were talking, these costs are astronomically low. So how would you go into a workplace and say, hey, here's the answer. Now, what do you do?
Yeah, right? Here's our
exactly.
Microsoft solution for you.
So
Jump off the roof of a building before that happens.
that I don't get. So, Carl, I really hope that when you're looking towards the end of life here at the end of 2019.
Not your end of life, Carl, because we want you
God
to
forbid.
stick around.
Yes.
Our listeners are important to us.
Yes. So, Carl, as you're looking at the end of life for your operating systems, as you're looking at assessing what it's going to take to migrate to that next platform, make sure that you're looking at what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish, and then look at a few different solutions. Don't pigeonhole yourself into one solution and try to conform to it. Look at a couple different options, see what would be the best fit for your team, and go with your heart.
Well, that was very powerful, Tom.
Yeah, well, as are all our podcasts.
Yeah, I think you really spoke to Carl's deep-rooted challenges in Castleberry.
Well, I appreciate the people in Castleberry.
They're fine people.
They've got great clubs.
They do. There's a couple clubs there, Tom, where you could catch the VDI, I'm pretty sure.
That's what I've read on the interweb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interwebs don't lie.
That's right.
Right?
It's all real news, Tom.
Carl, a terrific question. Thank you so much for writing into the mail sack today on the T-Squared Tech Talk podcast. Tom, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, and that doesn't mean that this is the end of life for the T-Squared Tech Talk podcast.
Oh, the hell no, it's
We're
not.
just getting started.
As long as Microsoft exists, we'll be here to break it down every single podcast for you.
That's right. As long as Microsoft exists, I will still have a career in technology.
And why is that, Tom?
Well, because
It left him speechless for once.
it's
Wait, let me get you a book. Microsoft Solution Guide, page 1.
Okay, so thanks for opening that. It is the best solution for how technology can allow teams to collaborate and provide solutions for your organization in a much better and economical way. Did I read that properly?
And destroy your life.
That's why I missed the last line.
Yeah, it's one of the most important. So I've got a shiny Microsoft team. You hear the click? It's nice.
Yeah.
In a solutions guide, Tom, and I'm going to go insert these somewhere when I'm done with the show.
You know what that click is? That's the click of a bad hard drive is what that sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like a PC, Tom.
Yeah, it could be.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So anyway, well, Carl, I hope you found the answer to your question there, a viable one.
And Carl, if it does burn when you pee, I'd recommend cranberry juice. So that's just my tip of the day.
Or, go to the local doctor. That's my tip.
Yeah.
But
he's coming
hey,
in here soon, Tom.
That's right. Well, Tom, this has been another fantastic podcast.
I've laughed, I've cried, I've been inspired, Tom, and I loved hearing you say Microsoft end of life.
See, I knew it. I knew that this podcast would be right up your alley.
Yeah, so today we celebrated the death of all hamsters who have ever died after 3 days.
That's right.
And paid homage to the Microsoft death.
Of Windows 7 and Windows Server 2008.
And maybe it's
Adios,
time they bring
my
back
friends.
Windows 98 or ME, maybe, Tom.
As long as they bring Clippy back, I'm happy.
Sure, Clippy.
Yep, I'm tapping on the screen.
Oh,
there.
isn't he
Ding, ding,
cute?
ding,
He's so
ding, ding.
cute.
Are you still there? That was awesome.
Pile of crap. Until next week, folks, it's been the T-Squared Tech Talk podcast. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Tom, where can folks find out more about you?
At advancedsystemsolutions.com, please check out our blog post.
Yeah, it's got the tombstone of Microsoft.
right.
I actually have that printed out and hanging on my wall, Tom.
I believe it. Well, I hope so. I paid enough for that stupid tombstone image from WeChargeTooMuchImages.com.
And hopefully they bury that damn Clicky McClip, whatever
right,
the hell his
right.
name is, in that same grave.
That's right.
And I'm Tom Jelnick with OnTargetDigitalMarketing.com. Until next time, folks, take care. And if it can't pee when you're burned. If it burns when you pee, drink some juice.
This podcast was recorded at the On Target Podcasting Studio.